Alright, point of fact. If police can shoot unarmed civilians because they're afraid for their lives, it should be okay to kill every police officer and say that you're afraid of yours. This is called fair and equal. I live in Chapel, Nebraska. Ain't no such thing as fair and equal here. This is racist redneck haven. Nobody gives a holy goddamn about human rights. They only care about themselves. It's a bunch of spoiled-ass white people. Then again, these people get more pissed off when you curse than they do about police brutality and murder. God bless America, right? So right now, I'm walking down Main Street, hoping to find myself one of the crooked officers who lives in this town so I can flip him off. Why? Because it's legal to do so. It's not legal for me to curse him out. It is legal, apparently, for him to curse me out. I have several videos, of course, of officers in this very town cursing. Did you know that it's against the law to do that in the state of Nebraska? How odd. Then again, they only enforce laws against people that they don't like. Meanwhile, I get to deal with these racist assholes everywhere I go. Yes, if you are a police officer, you're racist, regardless of your skin color. Yes, you can be black and still be racist. But the fact is, it's not racism that is our biggest problem. It's prejudice and stupidity. What's that stupidity from? Well, I'd like to say that it's from ignorance. But you gotta look at the key word there, ignore. Ignore is the root word of ignorance, which means that if you are ignorant, then you chose to be. If you want to talk about a situation that you are ignorant of, then you chose to do that. If you, spouting your ignorance, gets other people physically harmed, then you are my enemy. It is that simple. You don't want to get called a cunt by Sean David Schwartz? Then maybe you shouldn't go running around spreading lies that get people killed. I don't mean beaten up. I don't mean just falsely imprisoned. I mean people killed. Over 18 bodies, and most of those people would still be alive if the police had done their jobs instead of going out of their way to hide the wrongdoing of their fellow officers. There is not an officer in America that I can respect. Not a single one. Now we could look back at Nazi Germany and see this shit happening. We can see that here in the United States, we are instituting the same policies or outright ignoring policies that are anti-Nazi just because it doesn't suit our bias. Police officers can turn on the camera and turn it off whenever the hell they want. Yeah, no, that's not okay. We've seen what happens when that happens, haven't we? What happens when police officers are allowed to turn off their body cameras whenever they want? Now, a lot of you look at all these police cams where these officers were dumb and busted themselves. But then again, they didn't think anybody was gonna fucking look. They thought, hey, I got a black guy here. Nobody cares about black people. I'm gonna get away with this. Haha, wrong political climate, asshole. Of course, it's not the wrong political climate for them to do this to the homeless. And they will continue doing this to the homeless. And continue while our economy continues to tank and more people end up homeless. All right, now let me show you this right here. That's Officer Hahn's police cruiser. See, it says Sheriff Patrol. Even says, "In God We Trust." Gee, where have we heard that before? So that's Officer Hahn, the crooked officer's vehicle. That's where he lives. On to the next one. Now this person is from Colorado. An officer from Colorado. Well, with all due respect, with the politics in Colorado, I don't want their officers here. I'm not comfortable with their officers here. Now, this next place is only half a block away from Officer Hahn's house. Due to the fact that there are children there, I'm going to make sure that I do not video any of the children. I am, however, I do believe this used to be Mr. Mahar's house. He was one of my teachers in high school. Had horrible breath because he had a sheep stomach. Now let's see. It says Sheriff Patrol, Nebraska 46758. Right there. That's the vehicle. Now this is a sheriff of Dual County as well. Well, at least the vehicle is. Now we here in Nebraska have some of the most crappy, racist, useless cops in America. But we're stuck with them. Why? Well, because we're stuck with a bunch of racist rednecks who let them get away with whatever they want, especially if they do it to people that nobody cares about. Not sure if y'all noticed, but racists have a tendency to not just hate people of different colors, but just people who are different in general. Like if you're autistic or have Tourette syndrome, maybe you've got cerebral palsy. Yeah, these people don't like you. Why don't they like you? Because you're different. You should do what they want at all points in time just because they said so. Now, a lot of people, they seem to be under the impression that you have to follow an unlawful order by police. Abso-fucking-lutely not. These cops know when they give an unlawful order that it is unlawful. They absolutely are putting your life at risk. Your life is in danger just because the police have power, which means that any law enforcement agent in the United States of America is free game. If they can kill unarmed civilians because they want to pretend that they're scared, then actual civilians who are actually scared because of things that are actually happened should be allowed to kill their predators. Yes, I said that right. I said that exactly how I meant to say it. Every single officer in America deserves a bullet to his head. Now, when police officers start speaking out about this brutality and arresting these officers that they know exist, then maybe my opinion will change. But until that happens, I will celebrate every dead officer the same way that Officer Jonas, the Secret Service, and the FBI celebrated when I was sitting in the back of that police cruiser. Now, these officers were supposed to be getting my vehicle back, which they took illegally, and they were supposed to be taking a report about Officer Burke and his assault against me at the Longmont Hospital. Now, what is that situation at the Longmont Hospital? I'll tell you. This is what happens when you try to turn in a crooked officer. They take you to a hospital where their friends work, and they ask those people at the hospital for a diagnosis for you. Not that they're saying, hey, we want you to diagnose this guy. It's, hey, we want you to diagnose this guy as schizophrenic or ADHD or ADOS or what the hell ever else it is. Now let me tell you about the crooked sheriff in this town. When that situation happened with Ted Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger at my grandmother's funeral, Graham went outside and told Officer Jordan Anderson, is that right? Yes, it is, that I'm autistic, that I have Asperger's. Now that is actually recorded. It is on here, on my YouTube, for God and everyone to see. Meanwhile, when I went to talk to Scott DaCosta about it, and about the wrongdoing of his officer, what did he do? At first attempted to cover up the crimes of his officer. This is the sheriff here in Chapel, Nebraska. This is what we have to deal with here in Chapel, Nebraska. You're either one of the racists, or you're a crooked cop, or you're a victim. There is no in between. Now for me to trust a single officer in this town, first of all,